There's no question about it. Alcohol dominates society. It is everywhere. Every time you turn on the TV, every time you turn on your phone, heck, even YouTube videos like mine get alcohol advertisements displayed on them. You've literally got no escape. But the big question is, why is it so difficult to stop drinking? Why do so many millions of people attempt to stop drinking alcohol or reduce their drinking and then end up drinking more? It doesn't seem to make any sense. And when I drank for the best part of 10 years, this happened to me so many times. I'd promised myself this time it's going to be different. This time I'm just going to have one or two at the weekend and just go back to normal life. And then 6 months later, I was binge drinking, I was out of control, and that promise I made myself 6 months ago had gone. It was out of the window. Now, if you've found yourself in a similar cycle where you've been debating whether or not to stop drinking alcohol, but you haven't yet managed to actually make it a success, this is the video that you've been looking for. Because I'm not going to stand here with a finger and say you're a bad person, you're an alcoholic, you need more willpower, no, I'm not going to do any of that stuff, because when I heard that stuff, guess what happened? I just wanted to drink more. Today I'm going to show you something completely different. I'm going to show you why none of this is your fault. Don't get me wrong, you still need to fix it. But once you see that this isn't your fault, it's a bit of a relief, because then you realize, okay, well, hang on. So this is what got me into this position. And these were forces outside of my control. Once you see that, then you can bring it back to the present day, the situation you're in right now, and you can address these points. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. And listen, this isn't going to be your typical mainstream advice. I'm not going to sit you in a meeting, sit you with a therapist, prescribe you some pills. No, we're going to address the root cause. This has worked for me for the past 7 years. I've not touched a drop. Sure, life's going well now, but trust me, back then it was a disaster. And I'm also going to be showing you what I've shown millions of people on this YouTube channel. I've received tens of thousands of messages and emails over the years from people who have thanked me for showing them the truth about alcohol, addiction, and what to do about it. So why do I say that the drinking isn't your fault? Some people will argue with me on this. They'll say, no. A drinker has to literally pick up the drink and put it to their lips. So then it must be their fault. Drinking was a choice. And in some ways, they're right. But why did you make that choice? That's the question that goes unanswered. Back when Alcoholics was created almost 100 years ago, they thought that choice was because you have some genetic disorder. You've got a disease. You're an alcoholic. There's something wrong with you. That's what they believed. But the big problem with this idea that you're the problem, that you've got a disease with no known cure, the big problem here is that we miss the root cause. The problem with believing you are the problem is you never separate the person from the problem. And alcohol is just a symptom of the person with the problem. It doesn't make any sense. How do you fix that? You can't. You've got to beg God to help you to get through cravings. You've got to go to meetings for the rest of your life and just fight the urge. But let's just go back a bit. Let's just go back to when you were born. See, you were born into a world that sees alcohol a very specific way. We also see illegal drugs a very specific way. We see them as dangerous, something that only criminals are involved with, something that kills people, something that's, you just don't want to go near those things. And then there's another paradigm for alcohol. It's celebration. Right? It's a way to relieve grieving. It's a bit of fun. It's a way to socialize. Alcohol seems to be the solution to our problems. But where do these ideas come from? Because technically, they're not true. The act of drinking alcohol isn't socializing. You're going like this. You're not talking when you're picking up a drink to your lips. The idea that this action is fun, it doesn't make any sense. It isn't fun. You drink water, you drink coffee, you drink drinks, and it's not exactly that fun. But the idea that alcohol is fun, where does that come from? See, all of the ideas that we have around alcohol, they're not really thought through. We don't go and think through all of our beliefs around alcohol and ask ourselves, where does this come from? And part of the reason why is because everybody else believes it. That's what makes stopping drinking so difficult. We have to go totally against the grain. We basically need to ignore people that we grew up with, people that we love, people who we've drank with, and we need to go and create a new worldview and do the opposite to them. And you know what? Sometimes that makes people feel uncomfortable. So again, why is it so hard to stop drinking? Well, when you're born, messages are put in front of you. It starts with media. It starts with movies, with TV series, with some slight promotions, but most of the time, what we're doing when we're growing up is we're really trying to make sense of the world. And what we do is we look at people older than us and we see, what are they doing? So we watch James Bond. What's he doing? sipping his martini. We turn on a sports game and what do we see? We see alcohol celebrated. We see it as promoted. Sometimes we see athletes promoting it. And we start to make these associations with alcohol and other people. What we don't do is we don't see a homeless person drinking alcohol and then start to make an association between them. Maybe we do a little bit, but most of the time, people that are promoting alcohol are people that we admire. And the weirdest thing is these people are either paid for, as in an athlete or some celebrity that's promoting their alcohol brand, that's either paying them directly or they own it, or the weirdest thing is it's a fictional character. Can you believe that? That a fictional character, a fake person that somebody has invented with pen and paper, and we might have positive associations with this fictional character. When we see them drink alcohol, there's a part of us that thinks, oh, if that fictional character does it, then there must be something to gain. How freaking weird is that? That doesn't make any sense. But because this is all working in the background as we're growing up, it just goes unnoticed. Because then not only do we see these celebrities, these movies where people are drinking, but then it's our friends, right? It's our family members. We see our uncle. We see our mum and dad having some drinks, having a cocktail. We go to a wedding, everybody's drinking. This idea that alcohol is just a part of being a grown-up is everywhere that we look. One caveat here is that if you're born in a Muslim country, you will not have this belief because they have a different belief and they don't drink and they don't want to drink. But in the Western world, this is the worldview that we all have. We have multiple forces all working together to condition us to see alcohol a very specific way. And then when we finally drink alcohol, and we don't really like it, we persevere, we push past it because everybody else is doing it. We tell ourselves, surely there must be something in it, right? And before you know it, you've pushed past it, you've drank for a few years, you're kind of starting to get the effect, and that's it. And for 95,000 people in America, for millions across the world, they become a statistic. They become an alcohol-related death. But nobody ever warned them that's what they're signing up for. Losing years of their life. A painful death. Because that's the thing. Once the conditioning has taken a grip of somebody, then the drug then does the rest of the work. Alcohol is an addictive drug, one of the most addictive drugs known to man. It damages every single cell it comes into contact with. It's known to cause 7 different types of cancer. But once the conditioning has taken a grip, then it gets replaced. It gets replaced with addiction. But the problem is when somebody is addicted to alcohol is they don't want to address it. And what ends up happening is all the lies that they've bought into, rather than actually go and look at them and address them and change their worldview, which we'll get to in a minute, they have something called cognitive dissonance. Most people don't want to look at all of the lies that they've been fed because then they have to start questioning, did I really fall for it? Am I really that much of a sucker? Well, you're not a sucker because everybody fell for it. But it takes a lot of courage to kind of put your ego aside and say, yeah, do you know what? I did fall for it. I made a mistake, but it's not your fault. And whilst it's not your fault, I hate to say it, but it is your responsibility. Whilst nobody asked you whether you wanted to get into the position that you're in now, you still need to fix it. And if you're on the fence about fixing it, it's okay. It doesn't feel quite right. If you were 100% confident about being able to stop drinking alcohol and you know it was going to be easy, you wouldn't have watched this video. You'd have stopped drinking years ago. But the thing that stops us is fear. We're all afraid that somehow, if we get rid of this thing, life is going to be worse off. It ain't going to be worse off. I can promise you that. I promise you, when you stop poisoning yourself, life will change in such a positive way that you actually become unrecognizable to who you are right now. You've got nothing to fear. See, what you need to do is you need to go back. You need to go back to the very beginning. You need to go back to what it was like when you started drinking. You need to look at the paradigm that you had that got you into this position, that made you make a decision. See, what I teach people to do on this channel and in my coaching program at soberclear.com is I help people reframe how they view alcohol to change these beliefs. The way we do it is we use a mental model. We use first principles thinking. But you can do this alone. It's harder. It takes a lot longer. You're going to basically do what I did alone. But you can break down all of the beliefs that you've got around alcohol and stopping drinking alcohol, and you can replace them. And you might be thinking, but that's impossible. Well, I'll tell you why it's not impossible. Because somebody's put the idea that drinking alcohol was good in the first place. The fact that somebody's already done this to you means that you can undo it. Think how hard it is to persuade somebody to poison themselves. It's probably more difficult to do that than persuade people to go to war. But the fact that that's already been done means that you can reverse it. You can reverse the conditioning and you can start to see alcohol without any bias. Because what is it? When you start seeing it for what it is, It's just poison. You put it on your hands to kill the bacteria. You know, that hand sanitizer that stinks, that you're like, whoa, that's destroying and killing all of the living organisms on your hand. I hate to break it to you, but that's the stuff that you're putting into your body. That's the stuff that causes 7 types of cancer. It's the stuff that kills millions of people every single year. And that's the stuff that is meant to be a bit of fun and sophistication. I hate to break it to you, but somebody has been pushing you around life with a blindfold on. And I promise you one thing, you can take the blindfold off. If you want help doing it, if you click the link down below, you can actually apply to join the Sober Clear program, where we'll take you through a reframing process. This is a scientifically validated way of doing things. If you go to Google Scholar, you can find a scientific report on this method by searching Sober Clear system. I know you can do this because you wouldn't have made it this far into the video. So either go ahead and click the link down below to apply for the program, or if you click the video on the screen now, I'm actually going to show you some of the secrets to taking back control of your drinking.